Chicago, a city known for its towering skyline, deep dish pizza, and bustling streets. But beneath its vibrant exterior, it has also been home to shocking crimes that have left communities shaken. This is the story of a well-respected dermatologist whose life was cut short in a brutal and mysterious murder. For years, the case remained unsolved, haunting her loved ones and puzzling investigators. But when the truth finally emerged, it wasn't just another homicide. It was a chilling tale of betrayal, obsession, and a relentless pursuit of justice. This is the Chicago Dermatologist murder mystery, a case that proves that sometimes justice is personal. The victim, a life dedicated to healing. Dr. Emily Carter was a woman who had built a life many could only dream of. At 42 years old, she was a board-certified dermatologist with a thriving practice in downtown Chicago. Her patients adored her, and her work had changed lives. From helping teens regain confidence through acne treatments to assisting burn victims with skin grafts, Emily was more than just a doctor, she was a healer. Her colleagues described her as driven yet deeply compassionate. She believed in uplifting those around her, mentoring young doctors, and always striving to improve herself. But while Emily's professional life was flourishing, her personal life told a different story. She had recently finalized a bitter divorce from her ex-husband, Daniel Carter, a wealthy businessman with a controlling streak. Friends noticed the emotional toll it had taken on Emily, but she rarely spoke about it in detail. She was determined to move forward, yet, unknown to her, someone from her past refused to let go. The crime, a chilling discovery. It was a cold February morning when the routine of Emily's life was violently interrupted. Her receptionist, concerned that Emily had not shown up to the clinic or responded to calls, decided to check on her. Upon arriving at Emily's upscale apartment in downtown Chicago, she knocked repeatedly. Silence. A growing sense of dread filled the air. After a few more unanswered calls, the building's security was alerted. They opened the door and what they found inside was something straight out of a nightmare. Emily was lying motionless in her bedroom, the once pristine white sheets now stained crimson. There were multiple stab wounds on her body, and the scene showed clear signs of a struggle. The city's top homicide detectives were immediately called in, and an investigation was launched. But as they combed through the evidence, one thing became clear: this was not a random act of violence. The investigation began. Detectives quickly determined that there was no sign of forced entry. Whoever killed Emily had likely been let in or had access to her apartment. That meant the suspect was someone she knew. As investigators pieced together the last moments of Emily's life, they found that she had gone out for dinner with a friend the night before. After that, she returned home, alone. Security footage showed that no strangers had entered the building after her. However, one person did: her ex-husband, Daniel Carter. Daniel was a prominent businessman known for his charming personality and high-profile lifestyle. But behind closed doors, their marriage had been rocky. Friends described it as toxic, filled with arguments, jealousy, and emotional manipulation. When questioned, Daniel denied any involvement. He claimed he had stopped by to check on Emily but left after a short visit. He insisted they had remained on good terms despite the divorce. But there was one problem: his alibi didn't hold up. Cell phone records placed Daniel in the area much longer than he claimed. And when forensics examined Emily's bedroom, they found something even more damning: a single strand of hair on her pillow, which DNA testing confirmed belonged to Daniel. Still, it wasn't enough to charge him with murder. Detectives needed more. The ex-husband, a troubled history. Daniel Carter was a name known in Chicago's high society. A successful entrepreneur, He owned multiple businesses and was well connected in the city's elite circles. But behind the wealth and charm, there was something darker. Their marriage had started like a fairy tale: lavish vacations, expensive gifts, grand gestures of love. But as time passed, the cracks began to show. Emily's friends recalled moments when she seemed distant, hesitant to talk about her relationship. When pressed, she would brush it off, saying, "Daniel just has a strong personality." But in private, things were much worse. Daniel was possessive, jealous, controlling. He constantly accused Emily of seeing other men, monitored her social media, and even showed up at her clinic unannounced. Their divorce was supposed to end it all, but Daniel couldn't let go. Text messages recovered from Emily's phone revealed hundreds of messages from Daniel in the weeks leading up to her death. Some were apologetic, others were filled with rage. One, in particular, stood out. "If I can't have you, no one can." Forensic breakthrough: the smoking gun. At first, investigators lacked the concrete evidence needed for an arrest. Yes, Daniel had been at the apartment. Yes, his messages were disturbing. But there was no proof he had committed the crime. Then, forensic experts found something chilling. A single hair found clutched in Emily's hand. DNA analysis confirmed it belonged to Daniel. Next, forensic technicians examined Emily's smart home system. Her security camera, which was linked to her phone, had been disabled remotely at 11:23 p.m., the estimated time of death. Daniel's phone logs showed multiple failed attempts to access Emily's home security system in the days leading to the murder. He had been planning this. But the final piece of the puzzle came from a neighbor's testimony. At 11:30 p.m., they heard a woman screaming, followed by a loud crash. Then, silence. They initially dismissed it, thinking it was a lover's quarrel. They had unknowingly heard Emily's final moments. With this overwhelming evidence, prosecutors were ready. The arrest and trial. On April 3, 2023, detectives arrived at Daniel Carter's office. He was calm, almost smug, as he was led out in handcuffs. He maintained his innocence, calling the accusations ridiculous and claiming the evidence was circumstantial. But when the trial began, the truth unraveled. Prosecutors laid out the chilling sequence of events. Daniel arrived at Emily's apartment, possibly under the pretense of talking things out. A fight ensued. Emily likely rejected him for the last time. Enraged, he attacked her in a brutal frenzy, stabbing her 16 times. He disabled the security cameras to cover his tracks. He fled through the emergency exit, assuming there was no evidence linking him to the crime. What he didn't count on was forensic science and Emily's own strength in her final moments, leaving behind a piece of his DNA. The verdict. After 4 hours of jury deliberation, guilty, Daniel Carter was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Justice had been served. A tragic reminder: Emily Carter's murder wasn't just a tragic crime. It was a devastating reminder of how dangerous obsession can become. She was a woman who had dedicated her life to healing others, only to fall victim to the one person who was supposed to love her. Her case serves as a stark warning about the realities of domestic violence and how important it is to recognize the signs before it's too late. For her family and friends, Emily's memory will never fade. She was more than just a victim. She was a mother, a healer, and a fighter. And thanks to the relentless pursuit of justice, her killer will never hurt anyone again. This is personal justice. This is Emily's story. If you found this case compelling, hit the like button, subscribe for more true crime documentaries, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. What are your thoughts on this case? Drop a comment below. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next episode of Person Justice.